It seems like we've gotten some new changes to the monetization, which is a part of S&box. Now, as you can see on screen here, this is a picture that Garry has posted yesterday, and oddly enough, he ends up posting this right after I upload the video that, if you haven't seen already, feel free to go check it out. But there is a lot of stuff that is coming to S&box, and there is some huge changes that are happening. And this is another one that we're probably going to end up seeing in next week's blog post. But there also has been some changes to the specific requirements, as some people have been mentioning and complaining about other different things. So we're just going to get into what this picture presents and then get into some of the changes that happened afterwards. So with this image here on screen, these are now the requirements for you if you want to have your package, which is either a game or a map, opt into the Playfund. This has been an entirely hot topic. I know so many people within my comments have been talking about how they feel that the Playfund is a good thing, and others that are saying that it is not a good thing. And everyone's just been kind of giving their thoughts and feelings about it. One of the biggest issues at the moment is that there is a ton of people that feel, when it comes to the current games that are on S&box, some of these games that are either idle clickers or some sort of Roblox slop or things like that are taking the top slots, which allows for many people to just play these games and siphon Playfund money. Others feel that when it comes to the Playfund, that this is just an incentive to breed the wrong type of developers who are only just making a game for money. So there's a couple of things that I think Garry is trying to combat here, and some of them include mostly anyone who is a part of a team, which is called an organization on S&box, which is not more than a month old, where people can just have a bunch of different organizations and crank out a bunch of garbage and then have it be enabled for the Playfund, which then a bunch of people can see if they can try these games, and if they do play them, that they might earn money from that. Now, you have to make sure that your organization is at least a month old. This one at the top, which is released for at least a week, has been something that many people have already mentioned doesn't seem like a good idea, because there is different aspects which they feel that could be gamed with the system, which we'll get a little bit more into. But between that has kind of changed now, because released for at least a week has been completely removed according to a recent commit that was done today. As again, a lot of people probably mentioned to Garry, this isn't a good idea, and he probably thought, yeah, this is probably not a good idea either, so you remove that. You also have to make sure that your game has been played by enough people. Now, it says played by enough people, not every single day. It's just played by enough people. So if you've had over 50 people play your game, then this is a part of the criteria that has to be met so that your game could be enabled for the Playfund. Some of these other things are pretty standard as what you would normally expect, which is that it has to have a summary, has to have a description, thumbnail, you have to pick a category for it, has some tags, at least 2 screenshots, and has a video. One of the biggest issues is that there is a good chunk of games that are on S&box, and I've seen these myself, where some people would just kind of have a picture of the game, but then no description, no pictures, no videos, nothing. So you really don't know what you're getting into, and this could just be seen as a low effort garbage. So thankfully with that, now there is a way to combat this if people who are trying to actively game the system by not only having organizations that they just kind of crank out 10 or 20 of them, but they have to be a certain age for them so that they can properly be a part of the Playfund. The entire point as of right now is that monetization and trying to pay developers for the games that they create is a thing that S&box does provide. And I do understand that there is going to be people, both good and bad, that are going to try to use the Playfund to their advantage. But that's another thing, because a lot of people were talking about botting and like the whole botting situation, which I talked about yesterday, and that has been clarified a bit more about what is currently going on. But it still seems like people are just thinking like, yeah, this is still going to get botted, and this is just another incentive for botting. Again, with this image, this was a couple days ago, where Garry has added new bot and suspicious flags, including marking these bots so that they don't count towards the Playfund, they don't count towards online players. So most of this criteria has to be organic. You cannot just go and artificially do this in a way to benefit you to then reach all of this stuff and then be able to monetize your game. Like, you literally have to have players. However this is going to work, we'll see. I will say, in my opinion, this is a really good step in the right direction, as I know tons of people have been complaining about this stuff. Either way, I think that's pretty much all I have for this video. Happy Summer Games Fest Day. Hopefully we do get some games. I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but I will be co-streaming it if you are interested in that. The Twitch is linked down below. Hopefully I get to see you there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below if this is good or bad change and how you feel that this could either impact or benefit S&box. Who knows? But yeah, I'll see you then in the next one.